Hello, my name is Sophia. I am 20 years old, and I'm actually doing this the second time because I'm doing it in English now. So, to start off with, I need to introduce myself. My name is Sophia, as I said. I live in Moscow, and I used to live in Canada for 6 years. And right now, I study opera singing. Yeah, and I guess the rest you're going to find out about me in the video. Give the definition of the following terms. Order. So order, I believe, is when all elements, or all stages of a certain structure, when they're all operating very well, and when they're effective, and when they're very well thought through. So that's a good structure for me, a good order for me, yeah. Freedom, this is a very abstract term, so I can't really say anything specific about it, but I guess all of us are at some point limited by stuff, and on the other hand, we're like free. So you can be fully free, and it's not bad to be limited by certain events, certain thoughts, certain people. Yeah, and I guess it all depends on your prescription of how you see things. Yeah. Morality. Now, human being. As I had said in my Russian video, I think that people, or a person, is either a unit in our society, or, he also is an individual with his own unique thoughts, unique behavior, unique story. That's good. And the combination of different people with their unique stories and unique personalities, they make different communities, which is also cool. So now, I skipped God, sorry. God. I'll keep all of my religious thoughts to myself, because no one needs them, I guess. Well, no, I just don't feel like you need them. I do. So, yeah. Since my childhood, I would imagine God to be this wise old man, like sitting on the clouds. I guess I'll stick to that too this time. Morality. Well, I guess it's just a list of rules some people need to survive in the community and to communicate with others. Yeah, so that's that. Betrayal. I guess it's when someone terminates an alleged collaboration, like for a good attitude. Yeah. And work. Work is what things do to get a certain result, and a result they want. Sometimes it turns out that the result doesn't really correspond to what they thought it would end, like the process would end like. Yeah. And a boring person, it's a person who doesn't want to improve, or he's not very open to the others. He's maybe close-minded. It's just that I see it in my head. I can't really explain it, I guess. Yeah. So that's that. Describe any event you remembered well and remembered. A trip, vacation, concert, meeting with your friends. Well, I guess I can tell you about my trip to Pisa, Italy. So this summer I went to Pisa, where I had to live in this Italian family, a very nice family, for 2 months. And yeah, I had to babysit the kids, but I got a free living for that. So that was very nice. And though I had imagined it to turn out a bit differently, I thought that I would get more positive emotions from the outside, and I thought that I would meet new friends, but it turned out that I had to go to Italy actually to improve certain elements of my own life and of my own self, of my inner world, and that was good, I guess. As everyone says, when I came back to Moscow, I was a totally different person. What events of the modern world disturb you most? And what do you think has to be done to fix the situation? So, actually, I feel like the world is an amazing place. Like, it is truly a good place. Though I understand that many people don't like our century, don't like the people we have today. I mean, you can't fix it. This is what you've been given, so you have to stick to it. And if you want to change something and if you want to work on something, work on yourself. If you change yourself, then I guess the world will get a little bit better for everyone, and maybe a lot better for yourself, because you're going to enjoy the life you live. Yeah. Well, of course, there are things that make my heart bleed, when some people, like when I see people having like a hard time, especially the ones who are weak, like kids who don't have parents, and like old people or animals. Sometimes those little ones, they have a very sometimes they have a hard life, but I guess our job is to bring something positive to their life, and we can't fix their fate. So we have to do what we can. Yeah, it's mostly fate. We can't do anything about it. So, and if you're born in a lucky, like in a good family, if you have everything, then you must be thankful. Like, honestly, there's so many people who have good jobs, good families, great lives. They have everything, and then like some little stuff, they make them very pissed, and they become angry at everything and at their entire life. So I can't let that happen, like to myself too. So that's good. And I guess if we see that some people are living a bad life, we need to help them, try to help them, fix something, or give them at least some positive emotion, some hope. And we need to, think about how great our life is, because it is. What values do you think should be promoted in society? Yeah, I guess the only thing you need to make people feel is, you need to, when a person is indifferent to something, when he cares, that's good, because if he cares, then he does something. So, yeah, if you care about your society, if you care about people who live around you, that's good. It will make you do something. I guess, yeah, I won't say much about this. What trends in society of your country do you see? Oof. Well, if we have to talk about trends of our modern world, I guess we need to also think about what was happening in our community. Well, I'm talking about the Russian community. Like 10, 20, 30. And like even 100 years ago. Because right now, for example, I've just finished reading War and Peace, and I feel like the tempo we live, like, you know, that's in our lives, is different. We're trying to do so many things in one day, and our life is very, very, you know, it's very full of events, full of things we need to do. Whereas back then it was more calm. Yeah, and so some things were more stable, and some things were, you know, happening pretty like slow. And also, because of that, people had more understanding of what is going to happen in the future, especially like in those times when the events of War and Peace take place. So in 1812 about-ish. Whereas right now, we don't even know what's going to happen in like 5, 6, 8 years. And also, I think that is why many teenagers these days, they prefer to go working right away after the 11th grade to at least feel what is going to be needed like in the near future. Some people, they just, you know, they keep working. They don't get the university education because not everyone feels like the profession they're going to get will like exist in 10 years, in 15 years. So yeah, that's the things I've noticed everywhere. My own sister wants to, you know, have a break from school. Like after the 11th grade, she won't even apply to any college or university. She's just gonna see what she wants and what she feels confident about. Yeah. Yeah, and then in the beginning of the 20th century, life of people, like, it began changing. And there are many things that have had an impact on also the tempo of the life people would live. For example, the what's it called? The industrial development and a bunch of revolutions, wars, all of it made people's lives different. And even in the beginning of the 20th century, even by reading some literature, we can already start to feel that some people don't know where to go and what to do, and they don't really understand what will happen in the nearest future. And right now it's even less stable. And like those times, it was very, well, I guess they say popular to commit a suicide. Yeah. And I guess people, they would do it because they wouldn't understand where they're going. It's good that like right now we don't have as many suicides. Well, maybe we have as. I actually don't know. I'm not gonna say anything about it. But yeah, our life has really changed since, like, in the past 100 years, and we don't know what's gonna happen in the future. I don't think it will ever slow down, and we get too much information these days. I mean, you know, back then people would get information from books. They had to get in a library or from conversations with people. Right now we have ads, we have videos, we have YouTube, we have school, we have other people talking all the time, we have cell phones, and the information is everywhere, and it's actually a bit pushing on our brains, what I don't like. Yeah, I get very tired from it. I guess my camera doesn't want me to record this. Yeah, so I'll start again from the question about the borders. How do you feel about the fact that the borders of various states continue changing in the modern world through wars and revolution? I don't have a certain opinion on this question, but I have two thoughts. The first one is it has always been there, and we can't do anything about it, and it's natural. I mean, like conflicts and fighting, because for example, if we take two people, person one and person number two, and if they're in a fight, at first they're going to argue, and after some point, if they're crazy enough, they're gonna hit each other. But if they know that by law you can't do that, then they won't. Whereas when we talk about countries, and what else did it say? Countries and states, yeah. They are stronger, and they have to fight against another country who is also pretty strong because of the amount of people they have in it. And each country is going to fight for their own thoughts and their own positions, and it just makes everything more complicated. Whereas, on the other hand, as I've read in War and Peace, Tolstoy would say that no one can really change anything about the way things go. So if there was meant to be a fight, or a war, a revolution, it will happen, and there won't be any reason for it. So maybe that is partially logical. So yeah, that's how it is. Tell us about the people around you. How can they be characterized? Well, at one hand, I can say that I have many people around me. I've got my family, I've got people in my college, I've got friends in Canada, and they're all very different. And the question was, about people around me. I actually know many people, and many people know me, but I don't communicate with them, with all of them very close. So yeah, in my college we have a bunch of talented musical people. Most of them are pretty emotional. And then I have my family. I'm very close to my family because, we had to go through many things together, and it made us very close, I guess. And I have friends in Canada. They're very different from people in Russia, and I'm kind of in between, that kind of makes it very hard. Different societies. There was kind of a community in our school I had to go to when I came to Russia. It had its own atmosphere, and I didn't really stick to it. And I was glad that I got to go to college after 10th grade. Yeah. I mean, they're very different, all the societies and communities I have around me. Okay. Do you have the inner circle people? How is it formed? What kind of people get to your circle? As I said, I have many people I communicate with. I never fight with anyone. I love many people, and but I don't really have very close friends. The only person I'm very, very close to is my sister. And the rest, I know I didn't say that, but I had to switch many schools. In Canada, I had to switch about 7 or 8 schools. Then I had to come here, and in 5 years, I went to a regular school. Then I had to go to college. So we never really, stayed in one place. So I had to move all the time, and often actually happened when people considered me being their friend. Whereas I would say that, I feel like we're communicating only because we go to the same school or the same subjects or the same community. And I know what a good friend for me needs to be like. And I guess I just haven't met that person yet in my life. I know they exist. And maybe it's also about me going out into the world and actually searching for someone. And maybe I have to make the first step. But yes, the inner circle isn't as huge. And I think it's good. It's good that I don't have as many. I like the fact that I don't have as many people around me. Close people. I guess they have to be fun. They have to be very respectful, and they need to be they need to know what they want. They need to stay on both of their feet pretty. They need to be stable. So, yeah. Then, have you ever had real friends? Tell us about them. What kind of person would you call a real friend? My sister. I know she's my sister, but she's my best friend. And I'm happy to see her 24/7. We never fight, which is kind of weird for siblings. We never fight. and she really cares about me. I care about her. It's always fun with her. Maybe I've already said that, but it's fun. She's very confident in herself, what I love. She can stand up for me. And I really like to make different projects with her. And I never get tired from her. That's very cool. So yeah. And she's very open-minded. She's easygoing. We have the same points of view on many things. It's cool. Okay, briefly tell us about your outlook or your personal philosophy. Where did it come from? Where has it been formed? What has been changed in it over the past 10 years? For me, it is very important to remain sincere. To never play around with anyone. And I am able to talk with pretty much any person about anything about my own life, about any of my troubles, any of the things I feel. And it's very, very important for me it's very important for me, for people to trust me. Because even on stage, I truly give out the emotions I feel, and they are very sincere. And I really want them to get into the people who are listening to me. So no lying. That's why it's a bit hard for me to be a bit straightforward. But yeah, I want to be, true. Then I try and trust my fate. My job is to, I guess, just work and do the things I must do and see what happens after. Because fate exists. I believe it does. And we can't affect it. We just have to see where it takes us. But sometimes I would just, start worrying about even the exams I have this summer. And I'm going to be trying to get into the conservatory or the academy, like music academy we have. And on one hand, I worry because I really want to get in there. And on the other hand, I feel like, the fate is going to tell me where I'm supposed to be. That's important. And also many people, they've noticed that I live in my own tempo. So everyone is running around doing stuff, and I do everything very calmly. And I just feel when it's the moment for things to happen and for me to do stuff. In your opinion, what is the key to successful performance if it is a scientific report? Well, it depends on the people who are sitting in front of you and who are listening to your report. And you need to make it interesting for those who don't understand anything about the topic. And if it's for those who are, what are they called? Or whatever, the people who are good in science, you need to make it very clear and very open, very detailed. But still, in both ways, there needs to be certain structure, I guess, and too much information, just ongoing information will it will ruin the way they how should I say it? It will be harder for them to understand the information you're giving them if it's just, an ongoing amount of, words. And so yeah, and performance by the musician, there needs to be a good connection between you and the audience, and you need to be sincere. If you're sincere, then the people are going to see it, and they will be watching very carefully, and they will open up. And if they open up, you're going to feel it too, because you're going to have a certain reaction, and they're going to give you an answer. Yeah. What skills or qualities you've been brought up by your parents? What are the most important skills or qualities are necessary for children, in your opinion? Well, I try not to fall under influence of the society. So staying unique and staying open-minded, but having my own personal opinion on many things is important. Then, even now, my parents, they always show me how easy it is to reach certain goals you want to reach, and to achieve them. Yeah, and for me, it's very important to be respectful and responsible for your actions and your words. And for me, it's important to care about others. And the funny thing is, whenever I talk about it in English, like those words as respect, responsibility for your actions, and care for others, they pop up in my mind. Whereas when I talk about it in Russian, they kind of don't. And I actually don't know why that is. I also feel more confident and opened when I talk in English. I also don't know why that is. I don't. If you were in an unfriendly group, what would your actions be like? And what do you think may be the reason for this attitude towards you? Well, if a group of people, they don't like you, that's a good sign. That means that you don't belong there. So you don't have to waste your time trying to fit in. It's good. If you're working together and you kind of have to work with those people, then you need to be very confident and calm, and do what you need to do. And make sure you don't do anything wrong, because that's their own business what they think of you. And so sometimes we have to work and spend time with certain people we don't like. The only thing we need to be able to do is, stand up for ourselves when they cross the border. That's it. And actually, whenever you then meet a good group of people, you're going to be happy that because you're going to see the difference. You're going to see the difference when people don't like you and they like you. Yeah, and it's good not to allow certain behavior in your address. So yeah, how do you define if it is a close person to you or not? In what cases do you stop communicating with the person you considered close? For me, words people say, they don't really matter. it's more about the actions. But I can really, read off a person's face and of their actions if he's close to me or not, if he likes me or not, if he cares about me or not. And even little actions, tiny ones, they matter more than poems people read about the feelings to you. So it's good to stay simple, sincere, and if you care about someone, just do something for them. Think about them. Think about what they would want you to do. That's how you show your love. Tell us about 1 or 3 outstanding people you like. You can cite modern, historical features or fictional characters. Explain your choice. Do you have anything in common with these people? So, if we start off with fictional characters, there's this book, Rebecca, by Daphne du Maurier. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's a French name. Yeah, and I feel like I have something in common with the main character. She's this young girl, very sensitive and very opened up, and I just feel like there's something I feel that's in her that I also have. But then I really like books of, I'm going to try to pronounce it right, Zweig. In English, I know how we pronounce it in Russian, but in English I'm not sure. Because his books, they're full of emotion, contrasts, and a lot of psychology they have in them, and I really enjoy reading them. And another person announced that I wanted to say that it's very hard for me to make someone stand out because I try and find good things about everyone. And there are many good things about people. And it said, people you like. There are many people I like. I can say that I like everyone. I like something about everyone. And another famous person who actually really affected my love for classical music was Dmitri Vorstovsky. And it was a pretty interesting story, the way I met his work and his performances. So when I was little, I went to kindergarten, and for we had a concert for the 9th of May, and we had to sing songs that, the songs from the war times. I loved them, and because I had a good voice, and I still have a good voice, they would make me, sing solo, and I enjoyed the songs so much that I asked my dad to buy me a CD with music from the war times. And in my head, I had a child's choir singing all the songs. Then he brings me this CD with this old man singing opera, and I was upset for some time. I was like, "What did you bring me? I don't want this." But since I really loved the war songs, I just listened to him, and even now I never get tired of it. I really like it. And so after that I started listening more opera. If you were a mayor of your city, what would you do first in this position? What changes would you make to the city. Well, I will never become one. That's number one. And I think I would find the right people and honest people to do things, to change the city. I guess that's all I can do, is find the right people. And tell us about the country in which you would like to live. Explain your choice. What do you like and dislike in your country of residence? Actually, it depends it depends on the day when I'm talking about it. Because sometimes I feel like I would want to live, in Canada, then in Russia, then again in Canada, then again in Russia, so move all the time. On the other days, I would feel like I really want to live here all my life. And on other days, I would, want to travel. But I've always had this love for my country. And though there are many things Canada, taught me, gave me, and I really respect that country. But, as again, I don't know where fate will take me. So, I can't really decide. But what I really like about Russia is that when I walk on the streets, I can see and I can feel that a long time ago, many, famous musicians, many famous actors and famous actresses and people, they would walk on the same streets. And that's very cool. Like, I feel their existence. Yeah, so that's that. Now I have to look at the pictures. Give detailed statements and thoughts. So in the first picture, I see a lady. I don't really like the picture. And the lady seems a bit sad. And she's blushing. So she's either tired. She seems a little bit introverted to me. I think she's either tired or something sad happened and she's like thinking about it too much. And the picture is pretty old, so maybe her eyes are tearing up, but I can't see because of the quality of the picture. It's kind of gray. Then picture number 2. A bunch of people are scared and they're running away from what's it called? I'll say from danger. And they know that their life is going to end right now, so they're all scared and frightened. On the third picture, we see 3 hunters sitting and just telling each other stories about I think unrealistic stories about what had happened just a few minutes ago when they were in the forest, and they're trying to shock and scare everyone and look cool. So all of them have different expressions. So the one on the left is telling the story, and he's making everyone believe that was true. The one in the middle, he's like, well, I don't really think that actually happened, but he looks pretty stupid, like the smile he has. And the one on the right, he's the youngest one, and he's like carefully listening to the story. And he's, trying to get into it and maybe understand it and trust the guy who's telling it. Picture number 4. It's a weird picture about the two airplanes and people sitting in the middle. So the first thing that actually gets into my mind is a weird question. What would be the reason? What would kill them? So I know this is very unrealistic, but like at what point would these people die? When they get up, or when they... And is it even possible for two airplanes to fly this way, you know, so close to each other and not like... and we're talking about like centimeters here, like, and stay in the same... keep the same distance. Yeah, and then I think they would get lack of oxygen. So when? That's pretty... It actually really interests me. Number 5. Yeah, we see ships in the storm, in the sea. And they're having a pretty hard time trying to survive. And some of them didn't manage. And what I really like is that you can actually see what happened just, 5 minutes before this picture, and then you can actually predict what's going to happen, like, a little bit in the future. That's very cool. And you can see that there's sun, and the storm might just, go away somewhere, and it will all be good and calm again. And then we have this picture with this random black thing going up the stairs, and I see a person. I see this person with his one leg, like, on the highest step, and then like one leg behind, and 2 arms, and one arm is, he's holding it up, and then I see like a little face. It's like very very small and very wide. It's like that, and then he has the arms and then the legs. It's very cool. I guess there's a bunch of them. Or it's someone's beard just lying around. And then picture number 7. This is one of the pictures that would really disappoint me in my childhood. You know, when you read those huge books about, some story, and it would have only one picture, and the only picture would show this kind of tree, not the main characters, not any, cool castles or the town or anything interesting. It would just show a tree that was mentioned, once in one sentence on page number 12 or something. Yeah, I don't see anything interesting about this. Picture number 8, we see a person, and the author wanted to show that this person is thinking about something, about doing something, and I guess it's something bad or something not... something bad. And he wants to do it very, quietly, so no one finds out. And actually, that's not how people... He's either just, a little bit, stupid, and he's just keeping his fingers in the mouth. But if he is thinking about doing something bad, then that's not what people do when they're planning something to do. Like, not good. Because if, for example, a person was to create a plan in their head and make a decision to do something that no one would like, they will never show that they have something in their head. They will just, act the same way, the way everyone acts around. They will never make others feel like there's something wrong in his behavior. And here you can see that you can see that he's thinking about something. So this is a lie. And picture number 9. Yeah, just a crowd of people. They're all doing something, signing some paperwork. Signing some papers. Yeah, they're all involved and they all pay attention to what person the main guy is doing, like the one who's sitting at the table. Picture number 10. 4 black birds sitting. They're just sitting. And I don't know, doing nothing, I guess. Emotionless birds. Picture number 11. 3 young girls. They're all very different. One of them is very, just very soft and very romantic, all in her thoughts, thinking about something. Another one reading, or looking through a journal with or a book or something. And the other one sitting on the chair, she's actually paying attention to, or like she's having some kind of reaction with the person who is painting the picture, and she's blushing. Maybe that means something too. Like 3 stages of my existence. Honestly, like I feel like one of them at some point of my life. Picture number 12. Yeah, weird picture with the forest on the bottom, then a stairs going up, a random wall or a rock, and then water on the top. It's unrealistic, and I don't find anything interesting in it. Yeah, I don't understand what the person wanted to say. Picture number 13. I can really sense the atmosphere of this picture, and I can even hear sound lady's heels are gonna make once she starts walking. And depending on what happened before, those sounds would be very different. If someone is leaving, for example, it's one of the things that could happen. Then probably she's a bit tired, so she would walk very, calmly, and stomps would be very, rare. And if she's worried, they would be more, active, more loud. And I think the acoustic of the film is very, very good. Like it's because they don't have as much furniture in it, so yeah. Then picture number 14. I don't get that too. Someone little going around, and there are a bunch of dead people standing up. They're skeletons. I don't know. It's not the brightest picture. But in this, you know, in this dark, there's this little candle that's bright. This little person that's, oh, it's fire. He's holding, you know, like a stick with fire. Yeah, so in this kingdom of darkness, there's some light, which is good. Optimistic. So yes, I guess that's it. And thank you for your attention. I'm sorry that I've been skipping from one thought to the other one. I was trying not to, but it turned out this way.